Hello and good evening, and welcome to yet another exciting chapter of our global event. And as you all know, that every month we have our event called Global Event, and here we talk about some current issues, current problems. Sometimes it's with weather, climate change, sustainability, and today we are gonna have a great session on India's next growth story.
Sorry for the technical glitch that we just faced very recently, and we are extremely sorry about it. But I must continue with the event because this event is for my audience, and I know that for one month entirely they wait for this global event. And see the way we do the event, very my special thanks to Wheels Global Foundation, because every month we are having this session in collaboration with them. And today's topic that we are going to discuss here is India's next growth story, as I mentioned earlier also. But before we go into the actual event, the session of the day, let's just have a very quick look to the National Digital Library. Few of my audiences, those who are very regular, they already know that we are trying to have a one digital library for entire country India. So the idea is one India, one digital library, and this library stays with you for 24 into 7. And we want to create national knowledge asset where we want to give focus on education, research, innovation. And also it's a e-learning and education accessible platform that everybody, uh, you know uh, irrespective of their geography, demography, education has to be accessible to everyone. That is the main motto of this National Digital Library. We started our journey in 2015, and we have come really a long way. Phase 1, phase 2 is completed. We are on the phase 3, and few technical, the advancement work are still ongoing in this phase. And the beautiful thing is that we are available both in your phone, your desktop, in your laptop, and you can download National Digital Library in your phone, and you can access this library anytime you just want. And what is NDLI? As you can see, the total contents is 14.5 crore. That's a huge in number. And user, we have already 1.5 crore. We have set up 7,500 clubs almost. And beautiful things, this clubs is having almost 25 lakhs of users. Contents available in 39 Indian languages out of 423 languages. And search engine, that is called we that that is how we call that, this is available in 14 Indian languages. Contents covering various subjects, disciplines for different educational level. And here, by different educational level, I mean that from kindergarten school to post graduation, for the lifelong learners, everyone, every sort of, every type of reader will get their content from NDLI. And what we do is we give you the cloud hosting facility just to have your own idea, institutional digital repository setup. And we have already given our assistance to 150 institutions. A few banks are also on board to have their own idea and also their own library in association with NDL. That is also very important breakthrough for all of us. And we have conducts engagement programs about NDLI Club, and IDEA. And more than 3,000 library professionals have been trained in 33 IDEA workshops across India. And we organized during these years workshop, symposium. And the important message we wanted to share through this symposium is that our only one motto is to make the education, the democratization of education. We want to um, establish democracy in education system, and that is possible through digital learning. So these I already mentioned to you, the institutional digital library service we are providing you, training, awareness, idea support service, and NDLI Club. These are our services that we are giving you, given by the NDLI. And NDLI Club, that is aligned with NEP 2020, where we allow the institutions, schools to have their activity. And NEP has mentioned repeatedly that institutions should promote activity both at the school level and also at the higher education level. So the promote we want to promote the culture of reading, learning for this generation, and also activity based learning, so that they can actually sharpen their competence, skills, personality both. And as you can see, the club is established 7,500 across India. Maharashtra is standing at the top, is topping the chart, as you can see. And also we are getting huge response from southern India, and that's a really, they deserve a big accolades from us, because the kind of awareness we see in South India. And Maharashtra also doing great job. And these, you can see that India Like Club has organized different the awareness sessions, online, offline. So 850 sessions we have taken so far. Offline workshops 80 plus, international workshops 4 we have done, national workshops we have done 5, and idea workshops 32 to 33. So this is the figure, and these are the accolades that we have received in different time from different platform, mainly during the time of COVID, because we have served the society with the first ever digital library of India. And our main most the mission, as I mentioned, democratization of education, as well as our main mission is to learn, share, and grow. And as I mentioned at the very beginning, that due to the technical issue, we could not start the program at the right time. Again, my sincere apology to all my viewer. And for whom this event is possible, that is the our moderator of this event, of this session, that is Shujata Roy. Shujata di, welcome to the session. Very quickly, I will let the audience know about you. She has done MSc in physics from IIT Kharagpur, postgraduate in computer science from Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata, CQA from Quality Assurance Institute, USA, and spent most of her career in corporate IT sector. And she was the general manager of IBM. And again, after retirement, she is involved with so many IIT alumni activities, as well as voluntary activities. And she wants to really give back something meaningful to the society, and that is what she is doing. And she is helping NDLI to have this session every month with beautiful speaker, with beautiful topic. And these topics are really very much in demand at this hour. And she has been with us since 9 years, almost 8 plus years. And she's a board member of Wills Global Foundation India. So Shujata, the platform is yours. And again, I'm very sorry. We had a very minor technical glitch, and we have not yet sorted that out. But the session must continue. Platform is yours. Welcome, Shujata di.
Yeah, thank you, Manali, and really sorry to see the instant technical glitch, but good that you could come out of it in spite of all the hindrances. And I'm really humbled by your introduction. But anyway, I feel privileged to be introducing our today's speaker, Mr. Raghu Raman Chandrasekharan, who we normally call as just as Raghu, who is going to be the speaker for the day and really a guru in the area of sustainability and others. So Raghu is a social entrepreneur and clean energy pioneer focused on empowering underserved communities through sustainable solutions, technology, and innovation. He's an alumnus of IIT Roorkee and ISI, from where I also passed out. He held senior leadership positions at Polaris Software, Dr. Reddy's Laboratories, and Quintel Technologies before founding eHands Energy in 2010. So Raghu is the founder of eHands Energy, eHands Sustainability Foundation, and co-founder of some others. And his eHands Energy has actually delivered more than 1,200 decentralized clean energy projects across 900 plus towns and villages in 21 Indian states, reaching nearly 7 million people who are underserved. Raghu is the co-chair of our Energy Council in Wales Global Foundation, and along with that, he holds leadership roles in other organizations like Clean, IEEE, Smart Village, and TIE India, TIE Chennai, promoting clean energy, digital inclusion, sustainable livelihoods, and grassroots entrepreneurship for meaningful social impact. So, welcome to the session, Raghu, and we do look forward to listening to you and getting enriched by your knowledge over the next 1 hour or so.
Thank you for your kind words. It's an honor to be here. It's such a great privilege to be part of this monthly webinar series. I'll I'll do my best to enlighten the audience with whatever experience I've gone through on social entrepreneurship.
Sure.
Thank you,
So,
Monali, and thank you, the team, NDLI team.
So here is a message for the audience before we start off. As we go through the session, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat box, and at the end of his talk, our speaker will be answering those questions for your benefit. Okay, so the topic for today is India's next growth story, enterprises serving the underserved. So it's going to be a conversation on social enterprises. So, what is a social enterprise? As we commonly know, a social enterprise is a business that puts a social or environmental goal before making money for the owners. It sells things like any other normal business, but puts most or all of its money back into its mission in fixing a problem like poverty, health, or the earth. Now, the question here might arise, then how is it different from a normal charity? Yes, social enterprises and traditional charities both aim to do good, but they fund their missions and operate in completely different ways. Charities depend on donations, grants, and fundraising, while social enterprises generate their own income by selling products or services in the market while still fulfilling the social goal. So, coming to Raghu, a subject matter expert in this area, may I know what do you mean by a social enterprise and why is it important for India's growth?
Yeah, thank you. I think you set a very correct context. Because there are many. Can I move this slide?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So there are many challenges in the country which are still not solved in these years of development. So about 1 billion people lack, clean water, clean energy, affordable health, and so many other things. Decent livelihood, um, sanitation, and almost everything. Yes, we have solved some problems. India has managed in my lifetime. One of the biggest achievements we can say is the universal communication. We are now able to connect 1 billion plus people on telephone, internet, or digital inclusion. But then such achievements are only one or two. So we are looking at an intervention where we move beyond the traditional way of doing, like you said, charity. That alone doesn't solve the problem. Similarly, the government alone cannot solve the problem. So uh, here is the need of the hour: someone who thinks about what is the problem and what is the purpose that I have aligned with this problem, and how can I build a sustainable enterprise on an enterprise model. So, what is a social enterprise? I'm saying that many enterprises, the commercial enterprises, are born with profit, as you said, profit alone in the motive. But then social enterprise is not generally born with that. Yes, it does have to make profit because it has to sustain itself. So it is born with an underlying theme of being compassionate about some problem that he or she likes to be associated with. So the purpose or the mission of the enterprise is born with that. So that's the foundation of social enterprise. So can be of any size, can be small, it can be big, it can be very micro. So size doesn't matter. But what matters is the underlying compassion and the willingness to contribute to the problem solving, which means you are giving dignity to the people around you, and do that in a sustainable way. So, as I said, no single actor can solve all the problems that we have today. The government has its ability, it has reach and legitimacy. The private capital is very strong. The philanthropic capital is also there, but a social enterprise connects all these trends uh, along with the community trust and community, connection, and brings on ground execution excellence. So we do have some example of how India has evolved in this kind of model. Although Amul is not Amul is not an example of private capital, but at the cooperative level, at the smaller milk federations, there is a private capital. So Amul is the greatest success of how multiple sectors can we have killed the problem of milk shortage forever, and we are the largest milk producer in the world. And again, it is one man's passion, Dr. Kurian, and he led this whole initiative and created this movement. It's the Operation Flood. Akshay Patra is another nice example of where private capital has led the initiative. A bit of philanthropy also. I mean, largely philanthropy, maybe equal private capital, and tremendous support from government because the food is served to the students or the children in the government school as a nutrition program. And as I just mentioned, universal telecom. So we do have the capacity to solve the problems, and we have solved. But yet, we look around, we have so many other challenges and people not having dignity of life in so many areas. So, having said, the idea was to bring everyone to a common, understanding on, because different people have different connotation and understanding of social enterprise. So, I just wanted to bring a common understanding. So, a social enterprise is neither a charity um, nor a conventional
Communist
business.
business.
It is also not a CSR arm of a large corporate. So it's what I call as it's a disciplined enterprise created to solve the problem of human dignity and remain accountable until the solution endures. So, coming from there, I'd like to just walk you through a small example. So, having set this definition or the context, what did it demand, me to follow this? So, just to give a quick overview, I had two stints of entrepreneurship. I quit the corporate job of Polaris in 2000 and jumped into setting up rural connectivity using the Codect wireless and local loop technology created by IIT Madras. I was the first person to take the Codec box and put it in Dehradun. Now, that's a different story. Now, why did I do that? Because the children were walking up 10, 12 kilometers from deep in the valley up in the hill, and they were going to a lousy school. So there was no teacher, nothing to read, write. And, I thought that they need not go. So IBM gave us the kiosk, EduRite gave us the courseware, Khan Academy gave us the courseware, and I set up the wireless link. Everything was done, and 5 days, 6 days gone. No message from our engineers. Then he said, "Sir, bijli kahan? Where is the electricity?" We had a UPS in the kiosk that could last only 3 hours, but that's the time I realized electricity precedes everything else. And even today, the children walk miles in Uttarakhand, and they don't get good education. And I would think that the kiosk based education, of course, NDLI itself is a great example of digital access. So that was my first thing. And as I said, phase one. So the lessons learned is technology is only the beginning, and it feels great to be a pioneer because I was probably the first guy to do this. But this is a highly regulatory driven business. We have to get license for the spectrum, and it's like childbirth. It cannot be hurried up. And the people, the villagers, the community, I don't really trust you. Why should he cooperate? It takes time. Trust travels slower than technology. So I folded up because this venture was very, very high kind of controlled by the government. So then the second phase of my entrepreneurship began in 2009. So as I said, this stayed on in my mind that electricity is the root for any development. And, IBM was very generous. And so Sujata, there was a gentleman called Raghu Iyer in India, and Raghu Iyer facilitated the whole thing. So anyway, so I then took to the renewable energy, small scale at the village and the community level. So, which is what we have persisted now, and we continue to grow on these things. Our initial days were more as a technologies. We were very obsessed with the small wind turbine, and we were not looking at the impact, the deployment, and things like. So we moved from that, and then we realized that at the end of the day, whichever is the technology, it has to have the impact. So every entrepreneur goes through different phases of struggle and growth. So to summarize, like this, nothing went wrong in the first two. I mean, nothing went right in the first 2 years, and heavy cash burn, and the tendency was to take up or do anything that comes in your way, as long as it can earn some money and create some credibility of work. So these are the milestones, and most of I've been analyzing, I've been mentoring close to 15, 16 small enterprises, young entrepreneurs. Most of them go through this until they get one anchor customer, or the concept is validated. So in our case, we took the theme that much as the village did not have electricity to run a kiosk, a digital kiosk. We also realized that many of the rural banks don't operate at all. I mean, people walk up 6 kilometer, 8 kilometer, come to the bank, and they don't get service because all the banks are hooked to the centralized computer system. And if they don't have energy, they can't service the people. So we took to this theme that why don't we power up the banks and create or accelerate the financial inclusion. And of course, we are always put to test. So from just 4 sites successful, we moved to 100 sites. Then we also parallelly started creating microgrids. And then we found a mission aligned impact investor who's been very nice. They've stayed with us for more than 12 years now. And then, of course, the milestones keep growing. We are now maybe 1200, not even 1100, and 10 megawatt of capacity under our belt. But everything comes at a pace and a price that the market decides. So our model is anchored around institutions to be serviced, where we say that we'll enable you to go green and go towards renewable energy. And we have been tracking this number on how many people have come into the formal financial inclusion system of the country, which is Prime Minister's Jan Dhan Yojana. So approximately 7 million people have, in these solarized remote branches, rural branches, we have been tracking that. This is an approximate number. Reuters have validated this. There is a research report by them. At that time, they said as 6.2, but now I think it's more. So,
So,
sorry.
Raghu, as you talk about your personal journey
Yeah.
through eHands Energy and eHands Foundation, and what do you see? I mean, I could see like how you have actually grown from how you identified electricity as the most important thing to start with, and then you have grown slowly. So, looking back at your journey, what are the key risks or challenges that you think you faced and what is the impact that you saw at the end of the day?
Yeah, the most difficult, challenge to kind of manage was the lack of financial assistance from the banks. People don't understand, or the banks did not understand, the model of social enterprise and doing. So they think that this is an NGO. Then they say, why have you set it up as a private limited company? So this was going on. So access to financial resource was the biggest challenge. The second biggest challenge is that the harder the work you do, the more people, the more that you need people who are more capable of doing it. And in a country where working for a company which makes a toilet soap or the toothpaste is considered more prestigious, attracting an IITN or an IIM guy into our my company was, although we had people from IIM, we had people from Oxford, because they were fascinated with this idea of serving the underserved. But there was a disconnect. But that was a talent was a second challenge. And the third challenge is that the intermittent gaps in the project. Suddenly there'll be a gush of project that helps the cash flow, and there will be a long lull for a few months, and we have to take care of the uh, salaries and overheads of the people. So these are the challenges. So many times, the family, the friends, everyone will say, "Why are you struggling? Why don't you go back to a corporate job and just be an advisor?" So that was also a stage, and I don't think I have ever counted the number of holidays I took holidays. So these are part of being an entrepreneur's journey. So
Okay,
that's what I've
so that,
summarized here. Yeah, sorry.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Please go ahead.
So that's what I've summarized here. The learnings of these 17 years. The risk is very personal. Everything is on the entrepreneur. Although we have 40 odd, 50 now people working, but everyone looks up to the anchor person. So the risk that you take in anything is very personal, and the failure teaches you a lot, and failure should be looked at as a learning opportunity to learn, which is and then rebuild from that. And one of the most important thing, being a statistician, I developed this concept, mean time to recover from emotional setbacks. So people will upset you, people will cheat you, people will let you down. There could be so many things, in the enterprise, but you can't be just sitting and regretting it for days together. So how do you come back quickly? So that is what I call as mean time to recover from a setback. So if you can monitor that, that helps. And at the end of the day, many social entrepreneurs like me are continue to do this, even though it's not glamorous, is because there is a deeper meaning to what you're doing, and you're not looking for accolades or awards or prizes from others. You are satisfied yourself, and that is what keeps this journey going. And I'm very glad that many youngsters and even our IIT alumni youngsters are looking at taking to this direction. That's very heartening.
So, okay. So, what I can see is, after, like for you, after going through the journey, at the end of it, you actually still, I won't say you have already reached, but you have actually reached the target that you were, the goal that you were looking at. And with that, now, do you see any changes in the current ecosystem happening to encourage more and more social entrepreneurs to bloom and sustain this mission? Like any such positive trends do you see in the current, with the current generation?
Yes, definitely. I mean, there are a lot more positive things that have happened from the government side. from investors who are truly impact investors who are far more patient now than the traditional venture capitals, and uh, and uh, and I think this is a generational progress. The ability to take risk is increasing rapidly. It's exponentially increasing. So even in the conventional system, the risk is always rewarded, but in the social entrepreneur system, it is even more rewarded. So that's what I was about to come to. That the now is the time. I say now is the time because there is tremendous potential to unlock the patient capital. There are a lot more opportunities for partnerships, and the next generation is not really looking at lifelong career. Many I've met so many people who are not looking at like our time. We find a company and stay with that for almost till retirement. That concept is gone. So I actually been doing some research, and this is bit what do you call controversial. Also, kind of challenging the conventional paradigm. So one of the rules that I'm trying to change in my own way, and many are responding to, is that in the social entrepreneurship space, there's nothing called competitive advantage. We all have to collaborate with each other and cooperate and make the impact happen. So, as I've written, replication by another enterprise is an impact. It's not a loss or a threat to me. I should feel that my idea is working somewhere else also. And the traditional paradigm is that success is market share. I think the new paradigm, success is the improvement in lives or impact. And from the corporate boardroom style of quarterly growth, quarterly profit, we are now looking at patient capital. So there are many, as I said, impact investors who are probably not looking at 15-year time frame, but they are willing to be patient. And from profit at any cost to financial discipline with accountability. And cost cutting is not cutting down people, reduce the waste. So this is something I have been saying for the last 3 4 years, that Silicon Valley playbook has to be thrown out of the window because it has been a disaster for the impact sector. And our own impact investor, based in Milan, she opens the conference discussions anywhere, saying that we need to get out of this Silicon Valley model. So there is change happening. A lot more people
Good.
are seeing. This is one. The other is that India already has a very strong entrepreneurial foundation. As many of you know, the non-agricultural, unincorporated small enterprises is about 80 million, according to various data, and 130 million lives are already supported through these informal small things. So, and 12 million people are entering the India's workforce every year. So what we need to do is to create an interest in about few million people and take them to the social enterprise path, and that is supported very well today because the digital infrastructure is very strong. It has lowered the entry barrier, and the technology again makes small teams effective and powerful. The CSR is easier to access now, and impact capital and language again due to technology or otherwise, the importance for English is slowly going down, and the era of rewarding the risk has begun. I feel that the next generation is far more risk taking than the generation up to now. So, we are looking at a situation or a context where the social sector or the social enterprise sector is seen like an infrastructure sector. The mission needs 15 to 20 year of patience in capital. So this has been my problem. You asked me this. So people come and say we'll invest in e-hands, and when do we get exit? So if you have to look at exit even before you enter, why are you even talking to us? That's the kind of challenges that. But I'm glad to say that there are investors across the globe who understand that impact sector takes time. So this is something that that I see again happening. Public funded social enterprise. The recent changes in social stock exchange is also an enabling factor. So another most important factor that I'm throwing up in forums like this and many others is that why should a social enterprise be valued in terms of enterprise valuation on the same metrics of cash flow, discounted cash flows, etc., etc., the traditional financial metrics? The social enterprises should be valued based on what we call as SROI, social return on investment, or impact based valuation. So we did an exercise for our own enterprise. The valuation is twice or thrice the conventional valuation that is done. So again, these are emerging, I would say, discussions and trends, and it'll take a lot more leaders like you to. I mean, you influential people like you should speak up in as many forums as you can, that social enterprises need to be valued differently, and then the capital can be unlocked. So it's a 10 to 20 year life cycle that we should look at. So that's um, that's all I had, and what I hope that you all carry forward is social enterprise is a very powerful pathway for dignity, and compassion is scalable and sustainable. So, as I said, it is up to you to scale the way you want and be content. There's a small, sweet, savory shop in Chennai called Grand Snacks. Many of you may know. They've been around for 35 years. They didn't grow spectacular like Haldiram or Bikaner Wala, and they remain as a social enterprise. They make profit, but they employ destitute women. There is a chain in Chennai called Writers Cafe. They also employ acid burn victims, but this is one of the finest cafes in India. So it is possible to do what you. So if you're passionate about food, you can still do a social enterprise. So now is the moment for you, the youth, and the change makers. Thank you.
Okay, so Raghu, what I'm hearing from you is the situation is really not that bleak. In fact, we have a lot of good things that we can look forward to. You can see the change already in the current generation. And with the governments, as you said, like with the different partners now putting their hands together, the government, the private enterprises, as well as philanthropy and all, plus the change in the attitude of the current generation. And we have, as you rightly said, we have seen many of our alumni, younger IIT alumni, actually going in for social activities, social enterprises, giving up their corporate jobs just for the passion they have in their heart. So, yes, the mantra is, of course, you have to listen to the people, stay close to the community, and deal with them with compassion, as you started right from the beginning. And you have to be patient, absolutely true. You don't get a return in 5 years or 10 years. So maybe up to 15 years you mentioned, you get to see your result. So you be patient, and that is the mantra behind, I think, behind this successful social enterprise.
Right.
So thank you so much, Raghu. That was really, I mean, you you kept us thinking, getting into the thinking mode. Oh, is it? I mean, we don't always think in those lines, as you rightly said. You talked. We are aware of Amul. We are aware of Akshay Patra, and we heard about your story, your journey of eHands and eFoundation, eHands Energy and eHands Foundation. So only when we listen to these do we really get to see the actual picture unfolding. So thank you once again. Congratulations on what you are actually doing
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
getting there. And of
Thank
course,
you.
with the right message and the learnings that we got today from you from as a subject matter expert.
Yeah, I hope
So
I hope it resonates with the audience and they find it helpful.
I'm sure they would. So I would like to now hand over back to Manali so that you can take questions from the audience.
Okay, sure.
It was really some enriching session for me also, though I started with some massive power cut, power failure from where we are having the session. But keeping finger crossed, everything is going smooth. My special thanks to my back end team, Shobhon especially. He managed everything so quickly at the last hour. But sir, I'm really telling you, the moment you said we can make the change, rather you can make the change, it is all about your thought, it is all about your passion, and also the perseverance. Result, definitely that would appear in front of you, but you have to stick to the people, you have to listen to the people, and most importantly you have to be empathetic. That is what I felt, from your talk or the session. Now the questions that we must get from the viewers: how can eHands Energy ensure that its solution remain effective and affordable over time? This has come from Rick Bhattacharya, one of our viewer. So, sir, it's up to you.
So you
Yeah,
will take.
so we call this as a blended finance. Affordability of the energy service that we are providing to the villages, especially these microgrids. We have about 42 microgrids, and we are serving about 25,000 people across Maharashtra, UP, and Uttarakhand, largely, a little bit in Assam. The blended finance model is that either we have put the capital, that means we have taken the loan from a bank and then put the capital, and the community contributes to the corpus of this infrastructure, a small amount, 100 rupee per month per house. And then the third element in this case, which many people don't do at all, is the carbon footprint that is reduced, or the carbon dioxide that is avoided in these what is called as high impact project is monetized. The carbon credits are very special. These are called premium carbon credits because you are not only reducing the carbon footprint, you are also creating impact or livelihood. So these are traded at very high premium, and we get the money. And so, for example, Netflix. So every time you watch a Netflix movie or something on Netflix, maybe 1 cent is coming to us. Salesforce, Netflix, Gap. These are the buyers of our high impact carbon credit. So it's a blended finance model where we are monetizing the carbon credit, we are leveraging the community resources, not only the money, but even their voluntary thing. And finally, at a high level, we put together a project plan, and many times we have volunteers working for it. So we have international volunteers who come and contribute to the project planning. So that's how the sustainability happens. Our oldest microgrid is in a place called Saraya Buzur in district Basti. It is 14 years old and still running. So 4 cycles of battery and inverter replacement the community has funded, and that's the way it has to be done upfront. If you don't collect the money upfront when the microgrid is being set up, and once they get used to free service for 1 year, then they'll never pay. So that's a mistake that we made, and we learned from that. Does it help?
Yes, yes, it was wonderful the way you answer to the question. And I think we have one more question, I guess, right? So, what should an organization do when its initial solution does not work as expected? I mean, I think by this he wants to mean that if somebody is, at the initiator and at the very the first step, and then when he is just planning out something, I mean, by that he has meant like this, like an organization or maybe a person. when its initial solution doesn't work as expected?
Well, failures are part of the enterprise building. We have to find another way to make it happen. So it's a very delicate balance of how much resource you have. So doing it right the first time is the best approach. But if you cannot do that, or if you're unable to, make that happen, doing it right the first time, then you have to, do a second attempt, third attempt, and you learn by that. Now, this is where, as I said, volunteers are important. So, whichever area, whether you are in food business, energy business, education business, healthcare business, there are abundant senior volunteers who have retired or who have made money and who want to contribute to social sector, but they don't have the energy to be an entrepreneur. So, get them on board as your advisor, as the planner for you, and that reduces the chance of going wrong on the first attempt. The solution itself is designed robustly. So our Pan IIT network is a very good forum where so many Wheels has so many volunteers willing to help social enterprises. You just need to reach out to the right people in Wheels.
Thank you so much. So it is all about your right balance. You have to get involved with the right people and you have to reach out to the right person. So, and initially you need to know the balance, right? What you have and what you want to achieve. Thank you, Raghu sir, for this wonderful question answer session and the way you answered to my audience. I'm really happy to see that. And now, Sujata di, as we all know that every month we are doing this session uh, in association, in collaboration with Wheels Global Foundation. And now my audience should know about the approach of this foundation and how you all have started your journey and what you really want to accomplish from this the foundation.
Okay, thanks, Manali. So, as Manali has already mentioned, this webinar is conducted by NDLI in collaboration with Wheels Global Foundation. So, what is this foundation? Uh, Wheels Global Foundation is actually a not for profit organization created by the alumni of all the Indian Institutes of Technology. It was established in 2006, and that actually came up in response to a challenge from a late President Dr. Abdul Kalam when, in a Pan IIT conference in 2006, he said that you IITians, all of you have done so well for yourself. Now, why don't you do something to solve the big problems of rural India? And that is when many of the alumni they came together and formed this organization. And since then, the family has expanded its reach so that now it's not only IIT alumni, but we also have doctors, lawyers, and other professionals within our ambit. So, what is the objective? It's to engage the IIT system and its 500,000 plus alumni network to drive technology based solutions, technology which is our strength. So to drive technology based solutions to solve the problems of rural India. WHEEL stands for water, health, energy, education, livelihood, and sustainability. And we aim to provide clean water, affordable healthcare, renewable energy, access to education, rural livelihoods, and all in a sustainable manner through technology deployment. And how do we do that? By enabling scaling of tech enabled solutions through public private partnerships, academic collaborations, local NGOs, and mobilizing other resources like talent, treasure, and connections of the IIT ecosystem, especially its alumni. So, all of us here are volunteers, and we aim to do our small bit in terms of giving back to the nation. And now we have set ourselves a mission to improve the lives of 20% of rural India by 2030 by applying technology. And we are confident of not just meeting but surpassing it. So, here also, if anybody you are interested in joining our movement as a volunteer, please reach out to us. You can reach out to NDLI, and we can always find a suitable role for you. So, that's all. That's about Will's Global Foundation. Back to Manali now.
Thank you so much, Shujata Di, and to my audience. I mean, if you really want to join hands with Wheels Global Foundation, you can directly write to us. Our mail IDs are available in our website, NDL website. So anybody, if interested, you can directly write to us, and we can help you to get connected with Shujata Di. And Raghu sir, thank you so much. Despite being so busy, you are now in USA, and still you gave your time for this session. And it was really, to me, a very thoughtful and thought provoking session that we all had enjoyed. And Shujata Di, as I every time mention that this global event, if somebody is the initiator, then you are the initiator, and the way you are extending our support, that's really incredible. And last but not the least, my viewer, again, I'm very sorry for the initial technical glitch, but this event is for you. So it was in our mind that anyway we have to do the session, whatever may be the situation, and finally we did it. Thank you so much, my colleague, my teammate Shobhan, for being there in this difficult time when we had this power cut and all. And thank you so much, everybody, for joining us, and see you in the next global event. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Manali.
Thank you, Manali. Thank you, Sujata. Thank you all. Thank you, viewers.
Yeah.
Wonderful.